This episode of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast is brought to you by Gema. Gema's OptiStar all-in-one control unit leads the industry with a design fusing electrostatics and powder feed in one compact device. By combining the powder injector and control unit functionality into one device, you get the highest coating efficiency, fastest response times of powder output, and excellent cleaning performance. For more information about the OptiStar all-in-one, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gema.
Hey, all you powder coating fans. Welcome to episode 8 of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. How's your summer going? Things are really heating up here in C-Bus, my friends. Thanks for taking time to join us. We really appreciate your support. I'm your host, Joe Powder, a.k.a. Kevin Biller. And with me is my esteemed colleague and sidekick, Nathan, who's our powder coating formulator dude.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're broadcasting from the Powder Coating Research Group studios in Columbus, Ohio. The purpose of the Ask Joe Powder Podcast is to bring news and technical know-how to the global powder coating community. Let's get it rolling.
But before we do, I'd like to give a heartfelt shout-out to our good friends at Burn Manufacturing. In recent years, Burn Manufacturing has designed life-saving clean cook stove technology. These guys are headquartered, at least their development lab is headquartered in Vashon Island in Puget Sound, outside of Seattle. They're led by the visionary Peter Scott, and the technical effort is commandeered by Paul Means and his crew, and they've developed efficient cook stove technology that uses only a small fraction of the fuel typically used to cook food by the people in developing nations. The impact of this extraordinary breakthrough cannot be overstated, my friends. By using less fuel, this significantly reduces deforestation. It also makes life safer for the women who have had to venture for miles at times to find sticks or animal dung to use as a fuel. The other thing that it does, which is quite remarkable, is it virtually eliminates the smoke that's produced in traditional low-technology cooking, and because of this, it substantially decreases lung problems that are very common in the women who cook and the babies that are often strapped to their backs. These cool people built their manufacturing operations a few years ago outside of Nairobi and now employ over 100 workers, of which 60% of them are women. And, as you might expect, Burn uses powder coatings to coat their Gico cook stoves, and the PCR group is a proud supporter of all their work. So hats off to Peter Scott, Paul Means, and the Nairobi team of Ahmed SM, Paul Pulio, Leonard Shurg, Sam Murakefu, Tony Chamberlain, and Paul Muthaya. Okay, now some news in our Guess What segment.
All right, this one comes from the European Coatings Journal. It's another update on the impact that's being felt all around the world from this COVID-19 pandemic. Axalta Coating Systems announced an update on their second quarter sales trends through May 2020. Axalta had withdrawn its guidance for the full year 2020 in March due to the uncertainty in the outlook for customer demand as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and committed to offering an intra-quarter update in June. For April and May, total net sales declined in the aggregate by 48% versus the same months in the prior year. The decline versus the prior year in May was slightly less than April, with May sales increasing approximately 15% in total compared to April, given a notable pickup in net sales partly from the restart of automotive OEM production in mid-May. In other news, this one's from PCI Magazine. Diamond Vogel has launched an update to its architectural coatings website. That's diamondvogel.com/architectural. They have a new site with easy-to-navigate resources and product information with categories for professionals, homeowners, coatings, colors, and locations. In addition to the technical and specification information, there's also color tools, including color notations, trends, inspiration, and the company's blog for trending and industry news. From the European Coatings Journal, Altana Innovation Award goes to Eckert for their new Pearl Effect Pigments technology. The research team from Altana's Eckert division has won this year's Innovation Award of the Specialty Chemicals Group. The new Eckert technology enables pearlescent pigments that not only offer color intensity and luster properties, but also chemical resistant and efficient mechanical and UV stability. This results in products that cover the entire color spectrum. So, what are you so mad about this week, Joe?
I'm kind of glad you asked that. Well, maybe I'm not so glad you asked that, but let me tell you what gets me mad. In our last Powdcast, we reported that PPG had initiated global restructuring due to a weakened global economic conditions stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic and also related pace of recovery in a few of the end-use markets that they serve. Well, my friends, since our last report, the axe has fallen. Personally, I have two old friends who were let go recently. And these guys, I've known them for years, they're honest, hardworking, intelligent, dedicated, and highly experienced technologists. It's sad to see their unexpected terminations after dedicating so many years to PPG's success in powder coatings. I'm sure that many more excellent people have also been made redundant by this coatings behemoth. Apparently, from what I've been told, a 35% reduction in staff has occurred. Guess this is undoubtedly a sign of the times. All right, my friends, it's time for the Q&A portion of our podcast.
All right, our first question comes from Too Long Wen. He says, Dear Joe, I'm a manufacturer of powder coatings in Vietnam. We have a problem in our product as follows. The reclaimed powder is being sprayed on objects, but it has very poor transfer efficiency. I know the reclaimed powder should be added with fresh powder at a ratio of 70-30 or 60-40. My customer's spraying the reclaim alone. The particle size of the fresh powder is between 5 microns and 80 microns. The median is about 28 microns. The percentage of particles that are 5 to 10 microns is about 10%. What would you suggest for us to enhance transfer efficiency with reclaimed powder? I look forward to receiving your reply. Thanks.
Oh, thanks for your question, Too Long. Indeed, this is a challenge. And as you know, the best solution is to correct the root cause, which we can kind of delineate into two issues. One is to improve the first pass transfer efficiency of your powder coatings that you're supplying your customer, which will minimize the creation of overspray. With less overspray, you have less powder that needs to be reclaimed and reused. You can do this by regular maintenance on your spray guns. It's imperative to ensure excellent ground or earth of the parts that are being coated. Keep the hooks and racks clean, and use powder coatings or supply powder coatings that have a tight particle size distribution, which we're talking about minimal fines, less than 10 microns, and a minimum of coarse particles, which over 100 microns and more. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing, and you alluded to this, is to only introduce a low level of reclaim to the virgin powder rather than spraying 100% reclaimed powder. And, in this case, less is always better, but really, really educate your customer never to exceed 30% reclaim to virgin powder ratio. But obviously you need help now because your customer insists on spraying these high levels of reclaim. There is hope, however, but to be frank with you, the solution's imperfect. You can improve the fluidization and application performance of the reclaimed powder by incorporating a dry blend additive to the material. These materials are based on fumed silicas and have surface treatment to make them hydrophobic. They're supplied in kind of a fluffy form as agglomerates, and the primary particle size of these materials is around 0.2 of a micron in diameter. You can think of them as clusters of grapes. So these agglomerates can be kind of large, so you have to make sure that you disperse them completely throughout the reclaimed powder if you're going to treat it this way. So here's a few guidelines for incorporating a dry blend additive to reclaimed powder. A good starting point is a concentration of about 0.2% per the weight of the powder coating. Mix this modified powder coating thoroughly, and I'm saying, if you have access to a V blender or just some kind of low intensity mixer, that would help. And after mixing them, I highly recommend that you sift the powder through a relatively coarse screen, something around 150 maybe to 180 microns to help further deagglomerate the dry blend additive. The incorporation of this additive should give you powder that's easier to spray. Certainly it's going to be easier to fluidize. But by no means is this a recommended long-term solution. The other thing is I would pay close attention to the film thickness of the coated parts. If they get a little too thin, you may tend to see seeds or defects, which would be caused by protrusion of this dry blend additive that you're going to use to help get better application performance. So best of luck to Long. If possible, provide us with an update of your progress. Kindest regards, Joe Powder.
Now for a word from our sponsor.
Are you looking for a solution to coat your most difficult products with no touch-up? Then Gama's dynamic contouring equipment is the right solution for you. Unlike robotic coating, dynamic contouring offers greater flexibility without all the programming hassle while correctly positioning each powder gun to automatically coat your parts. For more information, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gama.
All right, and our next question comes from Allison in Boise, Idaho. She says, "Hello, Joe. It's Allison from Boise. So we've been doing some experimenting since our last PCI meeting. My husband Rob has powder-coated his leather boots and wood handles on our wheelbarrow. That being said, I had a customer inquiring on powder coating a porcelain toilet pink. Is that possible? Do I preheat and shoot it hot, or just stay away from the nutty idea altogether? Thanks for your insight. Hope all is well with you."
Hey, Allison. It's great to hear from you. And how are things doing in Idaho? You're going to have to tell me how the boots and handles turn out. I think that sounds... handles probably happened before. Powder coating your boots, that's not something people do deliberately. Okay, now to get to your question regarding the porcelain throne. Yes, indeed it can be powder coated. I would spend a little extra time prepping the surface, especially if it's a used unit. I recommend cleaning with a strong detergent and follow that with a good clean rinse. I would also consider a light blast with something like aluminum carbide, or maybe fine glass beads to roughen the surface of the porcelain. Then, like you suggested, preheat and powder coat it while it's still warm using a laundry-grade appliance powder coating. The industry developed these a long time ago for washing machine tops and lids. Heck, we even came up with one for washer baskets before they started making them out of stainless steel. A laundry-grade product will have the water and cleaner resistance to withstand the rigors of the Crappiere. If you need a specialty product, we can come up with one for you. Like they always say, it's a crappy job, but somebody's got to do it. Let me know if you need a product, and we will help. Thanks a lot, Joe.
As far as upcoming events go, we do have a couple of updates. The Paint Expo in Germany that was supposed to happen in October 2020 has been officially canceled now. Right now, the Coatings, Trends, and Technology show on September 9th and 10th in Chicago is still scheduled to go on, as well as the Powder Coating Summit and the Powder Coating Kitchen Formulators course in late September in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, powder coating fans, tune in next time when we tackle staying well grounded while spraying your powder, and when a wrinkle finish refuses to wrinkle. And just to let you know, you can find the Joe Powder column in Powder Coated Tough magazine, published by the Powder Coating Institute. You can also find it in Polymers Paint Color Journal, which is part of the Coatings Group, published out of the UK. And also Finishing Flash, which is part of the BNP PCI magazine set. I'd also like to let you know that you can stream our Ask Joe Powder Powdcast, all episodes, from the Polymers Paint Color Journal.com website. They've posted all of them on their front page, and we really appreciate that, our friends, and I'm sure that'll give people more access to our episodes.
And if you want to find us online, that's going to be askjoepowder.com. If you want to be the first to know when a new episode comes out, you can subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, basically any of the apps that you normally use to get your podcasts. We also just launched our YouTube channel. We'll be adding videos to that over time. The first one is our episode 5 interview with Andrew Walton from Keyland Polymers.
Andy.
If you want to see the video of that.
How's it hanging? You can learn about UV powder coatings on that one.
Cats.
If you have a question for Joe Powder, the email address is askjoepowder@yahoo.com, or you can call and leave a message at country code 1-478-2-ASK-JOE. That's 1-478-227-5563. This has been a production of the Powder Coating Research Group. Our original music, editing, and hilarious sound effects are by Nick Page. Coming to you from Flavortown, Ohio. Peace, love, and taco grease.
And keep your powder dry.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. This episode was brought to you by Gema. Gema's Optiflex Pro manual gun uses Power Boost technology, which gives you the industry's highest charging power at 110,000 volts and 110 microamps, allowing for faster and more efficient powder coating. We're handing you more power, more quality, and more control. For a demonstration, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gema.
Okay.
All right, well, guys, before we get started, I am legally obligated to inform you that this conversation is being recorded.
I do not like powder coatings. I would like global restructuring and deforestation.